Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You can't tell by my voice, we just finished watching Backlash. At least it's finally over.
Now it's time for our backlash.
Yeah, now it's time for the fan backlash, the Wrestling Underground Backlash. I'm your host, as always, Chad Porto. Joining me, as always, is my two-tone brother, Marcus Green. Marcus, I have no words. Do you?
Most awkward match ever.
I am more confused about this pay-per-view event right now than I was the last time I saw my ex-girlfriend. We had a session. It was awkward. It was boring. It was long. It was unnecessary. And I would still rather have that night where it was just awkward all over the place than have to watch this nonsense again. Granted, that was like 7 years ago, but I digress. So, first and foremost, Marcus, how are you?
Doing okay, man. What about you?
I was having a solid Sunday. Was. So let's just get into the show. That feels more like WCW from 2000 than anything I've ever seen in my life. Firstly, I'm pretty sure we have a second world champion. Nope, sorry, we did have two world championship matches. They were just both terrible. Completely forgot that Braun and Drew McIntyre were world champions in this country. Country fucking company, Chad. Come on. Get your head in the game. So let's start with the pre-show match. I didn't see it. I was even surprised I tuned in as early as I did. I was like, what's this, the third, fourth match? No, it's the first one. I missed the Apollo Crews match, but he defeated Andrade with Angel Garza and Selena Vega. Talk about a waste of a trio. I like Apollo Crews, though. But if you just keep feeding people losses, like, what the fuck's the point? Which is what we were saying about Apollo Crews for 5 fucking years. God, I miss Uha Nation. Marcus, this is the pre-show. Any thoughts on the pre-show?
I mean, the match was fine. I mean, look, it's good to see Apollo. I mean, it's kind of feel like a little past time for him to be having matches like this. But I guess it is what it is. It's good to see him winning seriously, not just being a smiley black guy that takes a bunch of L's. It kind of felt like a foregone conclusion for as much hype, I guess, as was around Zelina's group.
Mm-hmm.
Theory out. I'm guessing he's going to align with Rollins or whatever. But yeah, I mean, they're losers completely. And the fact that now they have Owens floating around there as like a little possible asterisk. I don't know I don't know if Cruz's days are numbered or not. Because, Owens a lot of times feels like Orton in the way that even if he is a face and it works, it's only a matter of time before, you pull that trigger with him. So, yeah, I feel like his days are numbered. I mean, it really feels like one of the reasons why he even won the match was because of Owens on commentary, who is great in terms of going back and forth with Joe. But yeah, the match was fine. Like I said, I don't know how long this is going to work with Apollo.
Apollo, you deserve better. You just deserve better. First match on the Real Show, Bayley and Sasha Banks defeated Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross and the Iconics. I don't know what was worse, the match or the haggard-ass promo that we got to start, where Bayley was doing all this Bayley dose straps, and just like, that's so bad. And it's not even good in the sense that it's bad, that it brings people in and like, I hate you. It's just bad. Like, here's the thing that the WWE does not understand. It's not 1982 anymore. Billing your heels as dumb doesn't get them over. It gets them buried. Yeah, you could do cringy, but Bayley's not cringy. She's just bad. She's not a good promo. She's not interesting. She's never been a headliner. You know, her only good matches ever came with, you know, better talent. You know, Bayley is significantly overrated. But this promo is even worse. And then Banks just walks off in the middle of it. And then Bayley's like, you're not going to get us split up. I don't even remember. They're all the fucking same shade of dumb in terms of the backstage announcers. I don't know who the fuck anyone is anymore. They're all the same person in my eyes. I've gotten to that point where I'm just like, I mean, I know how Marcus feels looking at white people. I don't know which one you are.
Yeah, not to sound like misogynistic anything, but at this point I am just kind of looking for outfits.
Right, like that's the only way you can identify them, and it's not even it's not misogynistic to say that because the WWE is clearly hiring a specific type of person to do backstage commentary. This is not a surprise. Like there's always who's ever is in charge of hiring clearly is going through some phases in their life. You know, like Dasha Fuentes, you know, tanned brunette. You know, the chick backstage tonight, tan brunette. You know, the one who's on Raw, tan brunette. Like, they're all tan and brunette. Yeah, it's not my fault they're all the same person. It's like looking at Teddy DiBiase and Cody Rhodes when they joined Orton. It's like, oh, look, the crew cut white boys.
Yeah, you take Renee out the equation, and she's not really doing backstage anymore, so, you know, they kind of blend together. You got Charlie, Kayla, and the other chick. And isn't Dasha, well, yeah, Dasha is still there, isn't she?
Yeah, so, one of them is with AEW now, though.
I think that isn't that Dasha? It should be Dasha because I think that is Dasha because she had the Dasha Bot interview with Van Vliet because I think she got let go. So I think that is Dasha. But yeah, like
and who's the third name you said? Dasha Fuentes, Charlie Caruso, and who?
Kayla Braxton.
Kayla Braxton.
Kayla's the really short one. She's around JoJo's height. She's got the curly hair. Well, the straight. I think she got rocking the ombre now. I don't know, but
like this isn't even a joke. They all look the same. This isn't like I'm not even being a jackass. Like, look, they all look the fucking same. I can't even pretend to be this much of a dick. This is just reality. It's smacking you in the face.
In a lot of ways, it feels like they're getting away with, I guess, the backstage announcer chicks what they used to get away with the divas.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Marcus, I was just thinking, this is like when John Laurinaitis was in charge. If she's not blonde and white, I don't want her. People power. How many of those blonde white chicks do you think had to do a casting couch? Because if you're that duplicitous in your hiring practices, that's some real fetish stroking, I got to imagine, right? Like that there's something there that's not right, organically speaking.
It's so funny because this is the times we're living in. Like just thinking about all them segments that Vince had with Candice Michelle when he was basically just getting himself off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to wonder if those were really, like, stories or if those were inspired by real events. So, yeah, my whole comment on Dasha Fuentes and Braxton and the other one, yeah, they all look the fucking same. Put, like, a pink streak in one of your hairs, like, because I can't fucking tell you apart. Then again, I still don't know which one Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are, so, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just white chicks with brunette hair. That really fuck with me, or tan chicks with brunette hair, because I think Braxton, I think she's biracial, so I don't want to assume she's just white, but they all have the same complexion and the same olive skin. Like y'all are fucking with my sensibilities. Like I can't figure y'all out. It's like watching Where's Waldo in real time. Granted, a lot prettier to look at. Don't get me wrong, but still, I don't fucking know.
It's funny, yeah. But with this match, I mean, I basically just went to the bathroom.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
Didn't miss anything. Came right back. Like, oh yeah, at least the victory went to the people who should have won. But I mean, at this point, what does that even mean? They finally put the tag straps on. They didn't really get to do anything with them the first time when it was actually done in earnest. So um, I mean, everybody's kind of just waiting to pull the trigger with Sasha.
Now,
So
when are they doing the stuff with Shotzi Blackheart and whoever she's tagging with?
I think that's up. I think that's up. Upcoming. I
Like
don't know exactly what's gonna happen,
Friday?
but maybe either Friday or they're gonna do it on one of the NXT shows.
Probably the NXT show.
Yeah, because I don't think because it's weird now because so much of the shows is now taped. So um, even though they're quote unquote supposed to be live, so I don't know, but I mean the whole concept of the tag things they can bounce around like that's an established thing. So
Sure. At this point, it doesn't fucking matter. This show's trash. Everything about this company is trash. Sheamus defeated Jeff Hardy. I don't know what human being can fill up a half-gallon cup with piss. I think Hardy needs to get himself checked out. He might have the diabetes.
it it was clearly my hopefully it was clear that my drink of choice was his apple juice.
Yeah, apple juice, that ain't bad. I could buy with some apple juice. Star Trek's Worf
Yeah,
enjoyed prune juice. Yeah, I mean,
nice.
it doesn't have anything to do with anything. I'm just, trying to throw out some
Yeah,
relevant factoids. Or
it
irrelevant
was that
factoids.
that or a beer of Seamus's preference. But um,
Which is probably going to taste like
yeah,
piss, so he's probably familiar with it.
and basically that was just a redone shoot of what Michaels did with Vincent, what '06 or something, '09.
Oh, yeah. No, it was '06 because I don't remember if they used urine, but yeah, they were feuding in '06 because that built up to the WrestleMania 22 match.
Oh yeah, when the shot there tagging with God, it wasn't that the gimmick.
Yeah, that was the next month at Backlash.
Oh, hilarious.
And then they brought back Triple H to form DX, and it started off like a good idea. Speaking of good ideas, Jeff Hardy winning was apparently not in the cards. Sheamus wins. I guess this ends the feud? I guess?
I
Like, I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Was that somebody? It's weird because I was listening to somebody else bringing this up. It's kind of just awkward. I mean, the company doesn't really have any tact to begin with, but like doing something like that with Jeff so close to him actually coming off of something like that, it's like severely poor taste. And then if you're not gonna have him win, which Sheamus could have actually used to win, because Jeff is just that guy who can kind of bounce back and forth because he's a fan favorite, even though there aren't any actual fans there. But yeah, I don't know what they do with this. I mean, obviously, I would imagine this will keep going until Jeff climbs back and gets the win because that's proverbial Jeff Hardy story. But I'm not really a big fan of this continued thing about his sobriety uh, situation. I think they could have just did a thing where Sheamus was jealous because even with everything that happened to Jeff, people still giving him love as opposed to Sheamus coming off an injury that could have ended his career, and he was just somebody that came back and like, oh, he's back. So they could have kept it simple like that, but they always have to go that extra unnecessary step.
Is it around this point somewhere where AJ Styles was interviewed and he's like, yeah, I'm the Intercontinental Champion? And I'm just sitting there screaming at home, I hope someone asks CM Punk about AJ Styles tonight. Because these two cats don't fucking like each other, and I think it's hilarious. He says that he's going to defend the belt, or no, he's going to have a giant celebration on SmackDown. That's what it is. He's going to have the greatest celebration ever on Friday Night SmackDown, and Daniel Bryan will be there. And I can't think of a more relevant situation to avoid than that. Like, why would I give a shit? Bryan's all right on the mic. He's likable. I wouldn't say he's overly charismatic, and Styles is about as likable as wood rot on a boat. As far as a human being goes, Styles is He's the white noise of people.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
So like I don't know, like why the fuck would I want to watch that? That's like saying here's this somewhat kind of funny comedian doing a stand-up special. Why would I want to see a somewhat funny stand-up comedian do a stand-up special? Keep guys in the box that they're good at and let them, roll around and do their thing. By the by, I think this is kind of interesting. Apparently, AJ Styles had issues with Paul Heyman, which is why he got, quote-unquote, traded to SmackDown, allegedly. He blamed Heyman for not sticking up for the rest of the club, who got 86th. I wouldn't be surprised if Styles was that angry about it because he seems like the kind of person who wouldn't really have a fucking clue about anything and would just be completely... what's the word I'm looking for? He would target anyone to prove his point, even if they have nothing to do with it. Very reactionary, so I'm not surprised that this rumor's out there. I wouldn't also doubt its validity. I bet it does have some kernels of truth to it, but it is what it is. Then Asuka defeated. No, I'm sorry, it was a double count out. Asuka and Nia Jax went to a double count out. I thought Asuka won by count out.
Oh, it was a double DQ. She didn't make it back in the ring in time.
Okay, so it was a double count out. This was just a dumb match. Dumb match. Mark, is there anything redeeming about this Asuka Nia Jax match? Didn't Nia Jax legitimately hurt Kairi Sane?
It's funny because I was just about to say, you said anything redeeming. Yeah, Asuka walked out of it.
Yeah, she walked out still champion. And she still walked, which is good.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure Nia Jax legitimately hurt Kairi Sane. So for her to kind of do the worst Kairi, like...
And it's funny because like the whole thing, because I've seen Mick Foley came out and defended her. And it's always, I know a lot of people saying, okay, I think Mick took one too many shots to the head. And I think people got to sit back and kind of always be cognizant that that's a performer talking about a performer. So it's always going to come off as having more leeway given. Yeah. You just go give more leeway to the performer because, not only is she a woman and Mick has never been on the cornet or the Sandman side of things when it comes to how he views women, thankfully. But I just think he's going to give a little bit more, like I said, leeway in terms of giving her the benefit of the doubt because he too was a performer. But as fans, it's like we see what's going on, and she may not mean to be doing any of the stuff that's ending up bad, but it's happening. So what are you going to do? She is a common denominator in these scenarios, whether she means to or not. I think she hit a jackhammer tonight on Asuka that didn't look good. So,
now
yeah.
I haven't seen Foley's comments, but we do have to kind of point out that, at least for me, I don't want to speak for you, but you can agree or disagree. I have a certain affinity for Vader. I don't know if you do. Big Van Vader, not Darth. Although James Earl Jones is tits, so both are pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Vader was notoriously, I don't want to say reckless, but physical in the ring, and he did leave a lot of people, kind of fucked up concussion-wise. I don't know if the vitriol towards Nia Jax is fair to some degrees, because I certainly have a lot of respect for Vader, but on the flip side of things, Vader wrestled in a different time period with different expectations and different awareness. If Vader was wrestling today as a 28-year-old, 30-year-old man, I do not think he'd be given the same kind of allowances and leeways that we give him now in hindsight. In 95, different story. So I don't know if that's I don't know if Nia Jax is being unfairly criticized for her physicality or if it's being fair and we just, we've seen how the industry has come, X amount of years. But I do often wonder, if Nia Jax was wrestling in 1995, would she be much more respected? Because Vader did hurt a lot of people. But that doesn't mean Vader was a bad dude, and it doesn't mean that Vader deserves to have his legacy kind of crapped on. But the difference I think between Nia and Vader is we always heard that Vader was very apologetic afterwards. He was always checking on his opponents, and he never intended to hurt anyone. And I don't know if Nia has ever really felt bad about it. Maybe she's just so insulated from all the constant nagging of social media that she just doesn't feel she has to apologize, or she feels it's redundant to apologize. Because I've never heard of ever once where Nia went backstage and apologized for hurting somebody. And we hear that all the time. Like Sami Callihan was like begging Eddie Edwards to forgive him for the bad incident backstage because he fucked up. And Eddie, gracious as he is, we're good. You were doing your thing. Shit happens. This is why we do this, and not other people try to do it. Instead, because we're a certain breed of people. Like, so we heard about that with Sami, and I've never heard of anything with Nia in regard to apologizing. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if contextually, historically, if we look at Nia Jax the way we should be at the moment.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. That's a really good point. I mean, also when you know better, you do better. Also, the industry as a whole is far more educated on, especially what we see with WWE, more concerned with the performer safety and just things like concussions and such. And it was a different time, and like we talk about with the verbiage and things that get criticized now, it's just certain things just wasn't a thing. Back in those days, and they are now. I think with Jackson, maybe I'm overanalyzing it. I don't know if she's struggling with the concept of because she is her side and she's supposed to just be this dominant force that doing all this dominant stuff is kind of par for the course, as opposed to okay. I'm gonna do this move, and even if it comes off looking sloppy, I'm the big dominant person. So it's kind of, like I said, par for the course. Because the whole concept is you're supposed to look like you're effing somebody up, but it's harmless to the person. Because I seen somebody that was like, man, Mick is tripping. I'd rather get in the ring with New Jack than Nia Jax. I'm like,
no.
I don't. I don't even do much conversing on Twitter unless it's with you or somebody else sensible. But like, you really off the mark right there.
I'm only getting in the ring with New Jax if I got a fucking Gatling gun. I got 100. I got 1,000 bullets. New Jack, fuck with me. Let's find out.
Yeah, exactly, and it fires off like Batista's pyro.
Essentially, and I need every fucking bullet too.
There's a difference between consistent botching or semi-consistent botching and premeditated murder, okay?
Which New Jack has claimed to try to do on several occasions. That's not hyperbole.
Jesus Christ. But
he's crazy.
I don't know if she's still trying to find that sweet spot, because there's like not knowing your own strength or overestimating your own strength. But then there's those nuances. Okay, like did somebody give the move wrong, or did somebody take the move wrong?
Yeah.
But if that keeps happening, it's a weird thing, and because we don't know. I mean, she might be 100% apologetic, but we don't know. All we know is what we see, and what we see is not looking good.
No.
So, like I said, I know she needs to change certain things with her style. Thankfully, the buckle bomb thing is no longer a thing, so that can kind of stop. But yeah, like I said, I guess we kind of just got to take it as a case by case basis, because you don't want to be too harsh, because there's probably other people getting away with far more egregious things, and maybe they're better at hiding it than she is.
I hear voices in my head. I'm sorry, what?
That was perfect.
Thank you. You bring up the sweet spot, and I wonder if Vader, if he had lost weight, because weight is a very big factor in athleticism. You can sit here and bemoan, boom, people, boom, that's fine, that's cool. No one's disagreeing. But when it comes to athletics, weight matters. Being out of shape is an issue. Vader, I don't know if his weight was so much the issue as so much as his lack of desire to restrain his punches. Like if Vader had dropped 100 pounds, who knows? Like, he may have been the best wrestler of all time for all we know. Because you look at Bam Bam Bigelow, he was probably a good 80 pounds lighter than Vader, and Bam Bam was considered one of the safest guys to work with. So I don't know if, when we talk about Nia, I don't know if, if she's too big for her own good and she doesn't know how to manage her movement well enough, or if that's not even the issue at all, and it's just like Vader, where she's being more purposeful in her actions, not deliberate to hurt people, but maybe she is trying to make it look as dangerous as possible. Maybe she is trying to throw people as hard as possible for the believability of it all. I don't know, because that's what Vader used to do. So, with Nia, there's a lot that I think can be explored if you break down her tape. But at the end of the day, Nia Jax is not a very good worker. And I don't know if the WWE really realizes just how problematic she can be in today's day and age. And I often wonder if Vader would, be suffering the same follies, because let's be honest, a lot of male wrestlers get called out for when they hurt people too. So there was a time when people were like, AJ Styles needs to retire because he's hurting people. And I was like, y'all, he hurt 2 people, granted pretty badly, but it was their fault. The Styles Clash is a pretty fucking easy move to take. You just lift your chin.
Yeah. Yeah, and we had that conversation several times too, and it's like a lot of people, because they just, again, it's there's a lot of willful ignorance, that it's almost like a lifestyle for some people. It's like, that wrestling is a two-way dance. Somebody is allowing somebody to do something on them, and it really is a two-way street. But I just think they wanted to kind of carry the narrative of AJ Styles being dangerous, because of, they wanted, or they just wanted to have empathy for somebody like Lionheart, because these guys, they had some serious injuries, but it's like, if it's on them, it's on them. And yeah, it's definitely interesting, because somebody like Styles could have easily he could have buckled under that pressure. Some guys will buckle and be like, you know what, even though I know it's not me, the perception of this, I might not recover from this, so I'm gonna start doing a new move. Then obviously when he came to WWE, he started doing the phenomenal forearm, but he still does the Styles Clash. So, yeah, that's why I had a brain for it. Like, certain things, like I didn't know what that Billy Kidman was doing, a shitty shooting star, until I saw a better one. Right?
That's fucking valid. Oh my god, I used to think the shooting star press from Billy Kidman was the greatest thing I'd ever seen, and then I saw someone do it better. I was like, oh, that's a good fucking Marcus. Round of applause to you, sir. That's a good analogy.
Okay.
Speaking of good analogies, I now know what a good world champion looks like then. Because it's not Braun Strowman. So Braun Strowman looks like a giant dingus. Can we all just agree about that? The whole, pleather pants with the patches and the stupid T-shirt. Like, oh my God, you look like you're a dude bro at a bar. You look like the mountain in between, shots at Game of Thrones. Like, you don't look like a badass. You look like an ass. And then you got John Morrison and The Miz just being all sorts of herpy-derpy. It's always great to ruin the credibility of a wrestler, because they can never really get it back. That's what they did with The Miz and Morrison. Like, I know they're like, oh, we're going to put 2 guys against 1, but you did nothing to put The Miz and Morrison over other than look like putzes. This is like fucking the monster of Frankenstein meets the Three Stooges. No one expects the Three Stooges to win. They expect them to die painfully and horribly in front of a camera. So this match was legitimately just dumb. It had no purpose. I didn't have any, oh my God, Braun's really going to lose to one of these 2 derps. Nope. Not today. Not today, Zerg.
Yeah, it's bad. I can't, they need to get that title back on the Fiend. He should have never. It should still be on the damn Fiend.
Or Goldberg.
But you're seemingly right. I guess in a lot of ways, and of course, it's probably a feeling internally like Reigns screwed them.
Oh, you know they're pissed at Reigns, because they're pissed at Sami Zayn.
And that's such a polarizing thing, because one guy can be all smiles because he knows the way the company has set itself up. He's gonna just fall right back into a slot, as opposed to Zayn, not so much.
Nope.
Right? Like they could bring him back, and he could tweet and like reference the IC title in promos, but he could easily just be slotted back into something with Cesaro and Nakamura, and never even sniff something near AJ Styles again. So it's weird, but Reigns could very much be all smiles because it's like, how many other me's do they have?
Yep.
And he's very much well aware of that. And again, that's how they set themselves up. Set themselves up like that with Becky. Clearly, it's how they set themselves up with Charlotte. So that's on them. But this whole Strowman thing is 100% failed experiment. The most entertainment I got out of this was seeing how clearly much enjoyment the Miz and Morrison have gotten being back together with that goofy video package and whatnot. But yeah, Strowman is trash. Strowman is trash. He's done nothing for the belt. He's brought the concept of the belt down. Not that it had a lot of credibility to begin with. And yeah, like you said, he's derpy. This was stupid. The whole concept of the match was a foregone conclusion, like a lot of these matches, unfortunately. And it was a time suck. That's all the match was.
I have nothing more to say about this. It's trash. Like that belt. Speaking of trash, I don't know what the fuck. Like, why does the WWE do things that other companies did better and then actively try to do them worse? Nakamura and Styles, Zayn and Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, all done better elsewhere. Why is this still a thing, Marcus? Because
are you sure, Chad?
Am I sure?
You sure it was done somewhere else? Because if it didn't happen in New Japan, or ended that they absorbed, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen, Marcus. It never happened. Styles and Nakamura, one time only at WrestleMania, never happened elsewhere. Man, like I wanted to want to like this match, and I mean that. I wanted to want to like this match, but I didn't. This was trash, and it was trash from the minute it started because they set up this whole angle where Lashley gets the jump on Drew. And they're like, Drew, do you want to continue? And then Lashley just beats the shit out of him. And then all of a sudden, Lana rolls out of nowhere. And Drew, despite already getting his ass kicked before the match starts, and then getting his ass kicked throughout the match, and then MVP, doing all that, he still comes back to it. It doesn't make Lashley look good when Drew was so far behind. This is the wrestling equivalent of the Atlanta Falcons blowing a 28-3 lead in the fucking Super Bowl. You did all these things to make it okay for McIntyre to lose, only to have him win, which makes Lashley look even worse. In hindsight, this match didn't help Lashley. It's okay for Lashley to lose, but you got to make it into a situation where it's Lashley loses by a hair, or Lashley's been dominating for 34 weeks and then he finally gets caught by a claymore, and that's why he lost. But no, he does all this nefarious nonsense to get himself into position to win and still loses. It makes Lashley look terrible. And I know that everyone's going to say, well, the whole thing's with Lana. Why is Lana a thing in this angle? Is Lana and MVP going to have a match? No? Then why the fuck is she causing any issues? If you can't do a blow-off, why are you incorporating them into the fucking conversation? Well, maybe Lashley will get a new female compadre, and then Lana will go new male compadre. And I'm just thinking to myself, what's the fucking point when Lashley's supposed to be in the title scene? It's like Vince McMahon doesn't actually know what works, and he doesn't, and we know he doesn't, and he's the worst thing that's been in wrestling for the last 15 years. And let's be honest, Vince McMahon as a promoter and booker is actually quite shit. There's a reason why he only has 1 star per generation. It's because that's all he knows how to promote. He's very bad at his job, and he has been for decades. Welcome to the conversation. Vince has never changed.
It's weird. Like you see how much between the 50-50 booking and how much the start and stop with the pushes. But it's one of the shittiest storylines and angles that we've seen in the last 5 years with this whole Lana Lashley Rusev wedding bull crap. Um,
This week
and
on
with all the stop,
Blacked.
exactly, and all the stop and start stuff they do, I'm guessing in their mind or in his mind, they feel like they put so much energy into that crap that they have to commit to her still being a dangling modifier. Because I was watching this, I'm like, there is no damn reason, even with as the great as she looks, for her to even still be on TV.
Nope.
And yet, I feel like in their minds, like we put so much time and effort in. Like the person who's staying in the shitty relationship, because like all these years and time and effort I put into it, I'm like, he's cheating on you with your sister. Are you still in this? Because you put time and effort in? No, that's not an. You're using that as an excuse to stay. So I mean, to me, that's what this is. And like you said, it's making everybody look stupid. It's making Lashley. I mean, he's been looking stupid since the Rusev thing, but and even before that. But he's looking stupid because of that. She's a dangling modifier. MVP's looking stupid for attaching his trailer to this whole garbage heap. And it's just again, it's not really doing nothing for McIntyre because, like again, like you said, he comes back after basically losing the whole match with a Claymore, which I'm guessing is the one I guess nod you could give. Like, it only takes one Claymore, which I guess is the story they've been going with with McIntyre, which is again, and we kind of booked it on the slick with like him running into somebody like Black,
Mm-hmm.
who can kind of quell that notion of it only takes one Claymore. Like, no, it only really takes one Black Mass or something like that. But he needs to run into him because unless if he has a reign where he just beats a bunch of Bobby Lashley's, it won't amount to nothing. Ultimately,
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You can't sell me on a dominant or a great champion if the people he's going through are just built up for that 1 week. And I feel like that's what they did with Lashley. That they did all this work just to get him ready for this one match, only to then pivot him elsewhere. Like I often wonder if Vince really actually pays attention to real sports and like real boxing and real MMA and even real collegiate and Olympic wrestling, because like when you're questing for a title shot, one loss doesn't pivot you away from it. But then again, in pro wrestling, it's kind of like of the mindset that, once you lose, you get an automatic rematch no matter what, and then you get another rematch no matter what, and then you get another rematch no matter what. And it's just like, Vince needs to realize that his booking tactics don't work anymore. They don't. The 5, 6, 7 month feud for everyone to have multiple matches at pay-per-view, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work anymore. That was old 1980s house show techniques that worked. Because you weren't broadcasting the same match every weekend that you put it on. But now that's exactly what Vince is doing. And he can't understand why people are tuning out. Jeez, I fucking wonder why. They're doing Lashley a disservice. There's a part of me that foolishly thought that Lashley was going to win, and then Lesnar would come in for SummerSlam, and then we'd finally get Lashley Lesnar. I mean, at a certain point, I need to stop having hope.
I mean that's really why he's still there. I mean nobody's holding out hope more than him for that. So, um, but then again, like how do you book that if he can't get past Drew? And then Drew's the guy that beat Brock. You know,
Yep.
you can't say all of a sudden MVP goes for that loss and then you're like, you know what, we need to get you warmed back up to get back to Drew. Let's put you against Brock. Like what? Brock isn't a road a re-warm up match to get to somebody else. He is the definitive big boss. So yeah, again, you just screwing the next talent. But again, like you said, he doesn't understand how to book guys like Lashley against guys like McIntyre. What he does know how to book is segments like I'm guessing this upcoming tag team match, if that's what the freak it was. The freak,
Well, I'll tell you this. It was listed on Wikipedia as a match.
Jesus.
It's no longer listed on Wikipedia as a match, I'll tell you that much. I want to know who thought the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders segment was a good idea. Because I seriously have a friend of mine. He's called Mr. Tackhammer, and he likes hitting knees. And I would like to hit someone's knee really hard with my tackhammer. This was trash. And it wasn't just trash. It was racist trash. The minute the ninjas showed up, Marcus, I'm just like, how can Vince be this tone deaf? How can he be this tone deaf? Like, maybe it would have been funny if the ninjas show up and it's like, you know, a 5'9" dude with like, you know, a spun body of steel, and then they rip off the mask and it's Otis. Okay, at least then you subverted expectations and it's funny, because there's no way that Otis would look that good in a suit. Fair enough. But you went with the stereotypical Asian guys? Like, really? Poor Akira Tozawa. Like, why were there even ninjas in the first place? And then why did Akira Tozawa have a 7-foot-tall Nigerian basketball player with him? Like, what the... And where the fuck did the sword... I hate this segment so goddamn much.
I guess I should just be happy as the black guy that they gave the Viking Raiders the chicken.
I think it was turkey. Which I'm pretty sure is a white stereotype at this point. The Vikings like the turkey, like, really...
It's like you said, tone deaf. This is 100% on brand with the whole Asian thing. The fact, freaking had Tozawa just sitting up there with that hand, that classic hand gesture, just shaking it all. I'm like, wow, this is.
Then God, who is it? Montez Ford? Is he the thinner of the two?
Yeah.
He was doing all the. Oh, bro, what are you doing?
Bro, all that segment needed was the bam, pow, ooh. Like, that's all that needed. I'm surprised that didn't get put in there. Like, this was a specific brand of suck. Like, the whole thing about we wanted to smoke. I'm basically 100% drug free, and I wanted to smoke watching it.
I myself is also I can't speak, but I am drug free as well, and alcohol free. And I was thinking, dying from a lethal dose of alcohol poisoning doesn't sound like such a bad idea right now.
Yeah, we're freaking basically straight edge, and this is what, like, you know what? Does anybody in here got any jingle jack?
Any Compound V? Anything?
Compound V, exactly.
Anything at this point.
We needed that damn heat vision baby for this thing so bad.
I will snort sour Skittle dust. I'll do anything to make this pain stop, because that's how bad this segment was.
Oh, man. And they probably think, hey, that Styles and Taker match, we can do it with the tag team. No, you can't. This was a specific brand to ass, and we talked about this. If they overdid this concept like they do everything else, it was going to run into the ground, and every time they did, it was going to get shittier. And this was a perfect example of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, this was bad, man. This was like this suck, and then whoever 5 rungs down, that's what this was.
It was racially offensive. It was emotionally destructive. It was the thing that makes wrestling fans quit watching. But I'm glad they had their little moment where they became the Street Raiders, the Viking Prophets. The Viking Prophets, that's what it was. I'm glad you had your little moment. Still didn't give a fuck. Now, this would have been a great fucking feud where if you had spent like 5 weeks with like the Viking Raiders destroying people left and right. Who's even the tag team champions in this feud? Is it the Street Profits?
Yeah.
Just have like 5 weeks of like the Street Profits saying, you're not enough for the smoke or whatever the fuck they say. And then, like, you just have the Viking Raiders destroying, people left and right, breaking bodies. And then finally, like, that last week, they come out and said, all right, you're finally good enough to get the smoke. We'll see you at Backlash. And then, maybe you don't do an entire match, but for, like, 20 minutes, the Viking Raiders just throw around the Street Profits left and right, just throwing them through barricades, throwing them through screens, throwing them through tables, and the match finally starts. Then you can tell the story however you want. Maybe the Street Profits come back and win. Maybe the Viking Raiders win. Set up a rematch down the way. Who knows? Who cares? But it would have been a lot better than this nonsense we got. Ray Rowe, I'm so sorry you got to go through this, Ray Rowe. At least your wife's still there, I guess. Isn't his wife Nikki Cross?
Trying to See, I know one
No,
of them's married to
no, his wife got
Sarah Logan.
fired. Yeah, his wife got fired.
Yeah.
Rip on the indies, Sarah Logan. Rip on the indies. So yeah, any thoughts on that one that you want to cover before we move on?
No, like you said, it was just bad. It was the suckiest of the suck. The fact that somebody probably thought they pulled that off just lets you know everything you need to know about what's going on behind the scenes.
If someone thinks they pulled that off, they need to just they need to not they need to be gone. Ugh, they're terrible.
Yeah. If I pulled off, I mean, did Vince laugh at it? Yep, we're good.
Those whores. Main event, Randy Orton, Edge. Apparently it went 44 minutes and 45 seconds. Felt like an eternity. It was bad. It was long. It was boring. And it was long. And there was dumb cuts. And it was long. And it was boring. And it was long. Oh, but hey, we got a moment with a pedigree and a rock bottom. Oh, cool. I tweeted out that's like going to see Hanson and they're playing fucking they're playing not Bop, they're playing Freebird. It's like going to see Jay-Z and he's singing Frank Sinatra, although that would be kind of interesting. I didn't show up to a Jay-Z show to hear Frank Sinatra. I showed up to a Jay-Z show to hear Jay-Z. Yet all this match was them doing everyone else's greatest hits, spine busters, what the fuck does Christian call his dumbass finish that was just maybe the worst thing that's ever happened to wrestling?
Are you talking about his the unprettier thing?
Yeah, the unprettier. Oh, what a terrible finisher! Like everyone was hitting everyone else's finishers, and it's just like, yeah, y'all are terrible. What are you doing? This is one of those matches that could have been told the same story in half the time. Mark, as honest to God, I was going to call you 30 minutes into it saying, let's just go now because this match is too goddamn boring for me to keep going. Now, that's my opinion.
I appreciate it. I appreciate everything Edge has done and the shape he's gotten back into and the concept of him just being back in general is damn near a miracle considering the fact the way he was when he was retired. But yeah, I don't know, whatever magic they had, like they had a match, and I implore people, if you like 100% solid on the concept of what these guys could do together, go back and see if like you could find the full matches either on YouTube or Daily Motion. They had a match in 04 and then they had a match in 06, both Raw matches. Both to me were superior than both of these matches. And like with a lot of WWE fans for some reason, and we talked about this before as well, they think like long matches equal like class.
Mm-hmm.
And again, these wrestlers are 100% entitled to feel however they want to about their work. Like, I think Orton, saw somewhere Orton might say that the match they had at Mania stole the show. Yeah, that's 100% his prerogative. I personally felt robbed, so something was clearly stolen. But yeah, like this match was it was tough, a hard fought, but again, I didn't feel anything. I felt bored. It felt like another long plotting thing. I get what they were trying to do. It just didn't work for me. This might have been Taker Sean WrestleMania 25 for somebody else, and if it was, more power to you. But again, I mean, just didn't hit any notes for me. I don't. They got to move on from this. They have to. Like whatever they got planned for Edge to go into however much longer he got with his contract, they need to get off into it because this was not it. Whatever magic they used to have is not there anymore. And the concept of, well, they started at the seemingly a feud ending match and then went to this. It's just, this hasn't worked. They can convince themselves all they want to. I appreciate the effort like Edge is putting in. Hopefully he's okay after this match. I would assume he is.
He's actually not. He tore his bicep.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, that happened. At least he didn't further do anything with his neck because that was a worry. But yeah, wow. See there? again, you go through all that and just to tear bicep. Now he's going to be out for however long now, when he could have been doing something more interesting than this. Now he could have did this in a match with somebody else or whatever, but I just would assume the match would have been better for me anyway. So that sucks all around. But yeah, so.
They've wrestled for now over 70 minutes in their 2 matches, and honest to God, I can't think of a reason why I would ever want to watch a third one. But we'll probably get a third one for SummerSlam, assuming Edge's bicep heals by then. Or Survivor Series.
Yeah, how long does that usually take?
It could be anywhere from 3 to 6 months, depending on how bad the tear is. Now, he could have had a tear in the muscle and not need surgery and just need a rehab and rest. That could be 2 months. So it all depends on the severity. So it's entirely possible that we see him back by SummerSlam. It's also entirely possible we don't see him back until November. Or maybe the next time we see him, he's in AEW. AEW.
It's yeah, man. Like I said, the only thing that stole the show in terms of WWE this week was that Styles Daniel match.
Are you suggesting I go back and watch that?
Oh, you could watch it in highlights at this point. I mean, they took like 5 commercial breaks.
Damn.
But anytime you give 2 performers like that time, I think magic probably will follow. But yeah, trust me, that's far more better watched than basically everything you saw on this show, really.
So it says here on Wikipedia that the match, the segments aired live, save for the main event. That doesn't make any fucking sense. This fucking company's dumb.
The segments aired live. I'm pretty sure that was a whole freaking orchestra act that we got with the Street Profits and what you got. However they want to frame it, fine. I mean, again, it's Wikipedia. One of the freaking Stan accounts could be behind that. So, yeah, that's just no.
Well, they're sourcing the Observer. The Observer is the one saying that Orton and Edge was only recorded. Let's see. On the post, NXT Takeover has already been taped. It was really good. 2 very smart workers. Meltzer surmised that the match was taped, so post-match editing could help it try to achieve the lofty goal of the marketing tagline for the match. He also said that the rest of the pay-per-view was not already filmed, as was reported elsewhere. Okay, so Meltzer's saying that the event did, in fact, air live, save for the main event. But still, even if it did air live, I'm sure the Street Profit stuff didn't air live. I'm sure that was probably taped at least a day in advance. But even if it did air live, it was still bad. Like, fucking Christ, man. This is one of the worst shows I've seen in some time. The level of suck. I'm never surprised anymore. But there is hope on the horizon. MLW posted an anthology video of the Lucha Brothers. I don't think I've ever seen Lucha Brothers matches in MLW, so there's going to be 2 or 3 matches in that anthology segment that I'm sure will be very entertaining. Plus, New Japan comes back this morning, Marcus, or tomorrow morning, or tonight, or yesterday.
Oh, look, man, I got what two weeks worth of Impact to catch up on, so I can erase this off my slate.
The DVR of your brain.
Exactly. So, yeah, I guess we go old school for a second and be like, if you had to grade the show.
Ooh, F times Z to the squared minus +2. I would give this a pretty solid D-, maybe even an F. Honestly, there wasn't one match I thought was good. There wasn't one segment I thought helped anyone, and the main event was so long I got bored. Now, I should probably be fair. I don't like Edge and Orton to begin with. So this match was never going to really appeal to me. I know you're more of an Edge and Orton fan than I am, but would you say that the match lived up to what you were hoping from it?
No, I know. Look, to me, there was no way. Look, the minute they had that poor girl spew out the greatest wrestling match ever, it was doomed.
Oh yeah.
And again, length does not equal quality. Um, we can have a whole show about matches that went 20 however many minutes too long. But yeah, I'm not that big a Orton Edge guy either. I've appreciated things over the course of their career that have been far better than other things that they've done. But to me, I just feel like those matches in '04 and '06 on Raw respectively when they happened were better. Um, and this was also when they both up and coming into the personas that we would come to know them as now. But yeah, sometimes I mean, look, again, if I never see another Cena Orton match this millennium, it'll be too soon. Um, so yeah, I mean, like you said, it was kind of lifeless. I'm not taking away from the effort. The effort, I mean, it's there. It just don't click for everybody. Some people might actually think that the Shawn Taker match at 25 was boring. It's perspective. It's just we shared a similar thing with this. Um, and I did like the back and forth between Sheamus and Hardy, but that's not enough to hold up on this show. And again, Sheamus should probably be in a more prominent position that he's in, and Jeff should not be in a story about his sobriety right now. Like I feel like that's just again the company doesn't have any coup, so I don't know why I'm not surprised. But I think they both could be doing something better, um, even with a better storyline, even with each other. But I did like the match pretty good, and I thought Jeff was going to get the win, and they subverted my expectation. But even with that, that's not enough to save this ass show. Like by the time you get to that Viking segment, at most you cheering that because it's just something so drastically different from the garbage you get a week. But that's not saying anything either. So, right, my grade is a hard D, blacked style. Um, it's, and that's that.
Speaking of which, where is Aleister Black? Is he hurt?
I do not know. Honestly, I do not know. I guess that he's somewhere with Mustafa, Cedric, and Ricochet. Um,
Talk about the Planeteers, man.
I don't know, man. Maybe under this new Pritchard regime, we'll get them back full force. All those guys.
That's an optimistic stance. That's an optimistic stance. All right, Marcus, any final thoughts on this week's show?
No, think we pretty much covered how we feel.
We'll be back on Tuesday. I hope we talk about things that didn't completely suck. Until then, you can find us on the website at realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. We got new podcasts up talking about Why the Last Man, Stargirl Episode 4 from ComicCorp. That's up there. We have Friday's Ohio Guys podcast is up there, where we talked about Season 2 of Eureka. And then we have last night's GameCorp is up there as well, where we talked about the PlayStation 5 being unveiled. This is obviously going to be up there as well. You can also find us on Twitter at NERDCORP, on Instagram at RealNerdCorp, RealNerdCorp. We're also on Podbean at realnerdcorp.podbean.com, or by searching for Real Nerd Corp on the Podbean app and downloading us on the go for your mobile devices. We're also on Spotify and iTunes by searching for NerdCorp, NERDCORP. Links to all this stuff should be on the website, hopefully. I may have not updated it, but you can just Google us and you'll find it, or ask us or ask Jeeves us or whatever MSN's terrible search engine is. You can find Marcus on his personal Twitter at ParadoxKid, ParadoxKid.
That's me.
You can also find him on his other podcast, The True Penny Show, on Twitter at True Penny Show, TruePennyShow. I'm sure they're going to have a show up this weekend at some point because New Japan's back, and I know you guys like to cover your New Japans over there. So hopefully it's a good show. I don't know if I'm going to stay up for it or go to bed and wake up early for it. You can find me on my personals at Chad NerdCorp, ChadNerdCorp. You can also find me on my Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut, ChadSPhotoHut. By the by, Marcus, have you seen my new Twitter profile?
No, I haven't.
It will make you laugh. If you're checking it out now, I'm going to wait because I want to hear the reaction. But until we talk to you guys again on Tuesday, which you can listen live at 10 p.m. on Tuesday, twitch.tv/WrestlingUnderground. You can find us. What's up?
Oh, no, I'm looking at it. That's good.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, they say if you put a bunch of monkeys in a room, they'll eventually type out Shakespeare, so I figure it's accurate.
That is perfect. Shakespeare monkey. That is perfect.
You can find us on Tuesday at 10 p.m. at twitch.tv/WrestlingUnderground as we talk about more things from wrestling. We'll talk about Slammiversary main event, if Tessa Blanchard will actually show up, as well as other assorted topics and theories and ideas from the world of pro wrestling. So, for Marcus Green, I'm Chad Portal. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. We will see you guys on Tuesday for another edition of the Wrestling Underground podcast. Until then, Marcus, take us home.
Good night.